You say you only hear what you want to. You don't really. I forgot the rest of the words. Hello, and welcome to the next episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies Quarantine Special. The podcast where Matt and Todd choose a movie on a Netflix top 100 list that we found, and then we watch it and we talk about it from our houses because social distancing and coronavirus. And hopefully you listen and we all have a good time talking about it. My name is Todd Domer.
Hello, and I'm Matt Malloy. And yes, we are still in quarantine, lockdown, stay at home orders. Our theater is closed. This is sad because we like going to the movies, but
Boo!
we can still talk about movies. So,
Yay!
uh, and in this episode, Todd and I are excited to welcome our first sponsor to the show. And that sponsor is the Santa Fe Writers Project, or
Woo!
SFWP for short. SFWP is an independent publishing house that has been helping authors and books connect with the world for 22 years with a wide range of fiction and creative content. The founder, director, and friend to the podcast, Andrew Gifford, has offered 25% off to all of our listeners when you order direct through his website, found at sfw.com. Just use the coupon code MOVIES when you check out. That's MOVIS as a coupon code for 25% off. Thank you, Santa Fe Writers Project, for helping make magic happen at Matt and Todd Go to Movies. Everyone go support a small business and buy some books at
Woo!
sfwp.com.
SFWP.com.
That's right.
Promo code MOVIES.
Movies. Yes. So,
All right.
yes, we're excited. We have a sponsor. And now on to what you probably came here for, which is us talking about a movie. And today we're going to be reviewing a movie called Mud. This came out, I think, 2012.
I believe you're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
The main actor in this is Matthew McConaughey. He plays the title character, who's known throughout the movie as Mud, which is a weird name, but what he goes by. So what's this one all about? It's about focused around these two kids, and they live in like a river town in Arkansas. So, like, a lot of people live on houseboats there and work and catch food and things like that. Fairly big river, and I don't know what river it's, but
It does not say. Can you adjust your microphone though, because you keep dropping in and out?
that's not good. Is that any better?
I believe so. Yes.
Can you even hear me?
Yes, I can. Continue.
Okay. Sorry, everyone. Little technical difficulties with the quarantine version of our show. Um, so anyway, Mud is about these two kids who live in a river town in Arkansas, and they find a man living on an island in the middle of the river, who is Matthew McConaughey's character, Mud. Uh,
Mud.
and 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 basically, the reason they went to this island is because this boat got caught up and free in the island. They want to use the boat, but they find out that Mud is living in the boat. So the movie becomes sort of about the relationship between the boys and why is this guy on the island and he's got some bad stuff going down that he's kind of hiding out from, and they're trying to get the boat back in the water and kind of trying to help him. So I think without going into spoilers, that's probably the far as we can go. There's some other people in the movie too. Reese Witherspoon is in the movie as a sort of ex girlfriend or lifelong flame of the Mud character. Uh, but no one else real notable that I can count. So
Yeah. It was the main character is Tye Sheridan. He's been he's been in a lot of different things, like Ready Player One, and the X-Men movies. He was the new Cyclops.
Oh, okay. So I've seen him in things, but didn't know his name yet. Um, okay. So Todd, what did you think of Mud?
uh, it, this is a hard one for me to review because even though this sounds like a simple movie, there's a ton going on in this movie. Um, there's these different characters, and it's like this town. It's kind of like a small, I don't know, I guess a hick town. I don't know. I was these people who live on rivers, and their lives revolve around catching fish and selling them, and just an area of life I'm not used to. And so there's, I think at the core of this movie, what I like about it is it's kind of, I think, a coming of age tale for these two boys, specifically the main character. Um, the side character is named Neckbone. I remember that. I can't remember the main character's name. So
Ellis.
Ellis, you're right. It's Ellis. So Ellis, it's just so many things happen revolving around this character Ellis, and whether or not he has this kind of question. I think throughout the whole movie is whether or not love exists. Like it's kind of like this weird simplistic movie that dives so deep into this philosophical question of can love exist, and most of the time he's either highly believing in love or things are happening to him to make him not believe in love, and it's just like kind of all up and down in this tale of his. And then you have all these kind of weird side characters that are in the movie. Michael Shannon is the uncle of his friend Neckbone, who's in it some, and you know, you kind of see the simple life that he lives. And then Ellis's mom and dad, they live on this, like I said, they live on a boat, a houseboat, and they have a simple life, and they're kind of going through somewhat of a breakup, his mom and dad. And then you have Mud and Juniper, who's Reese Witherspoon, and you know, they are kind of on the outs, even though they're trying to get together. It's just like all these people either coming together or falling apart, and then how it affects uh, Ellis. So it's got some good performances, I feel, even though like, I guess I should preface all this by saying I think this is one of those movies that was like a indie darling movie. Like, I don't think it had a theatrical release. I remember when it came out that it was like I think it came out at a time when Matthew McConaughey was still known for shirtless bongoing and stuff. Like, and this was like his turn to more, one of his turns towards more serious acting. Like, I think it was this movie, and then not too long after this, it was the Dallas Buyers Club, and then that kind of set him on a track of like doing more serious movies and stuff. And so, but even though this was a serious role for him, his role in this movie was the most shirtless bongo playing guy I've ever met in my life. Of like just being out there, you know, you kind of learn somewhat quickly of like, you don't know if Mud is always telling the truth, and he has these weird stories to share and stuff like that. His weird stories are kind of one of the most entertaining parts to me. Like, he got his boots from a Native American, and they have a cross and nails in them that keep him safe, and he's got this magical shirt that keeps him safe from snakes and stuff like that. It's like these like weird stories that he shares are like the most entertaining part of the movie to me. So this is filled with some pretty good performances, but it's also kind of like, I don't know, at times I just didn't care. Like, I was like, I wanted to pull for everyone. Like, I wanted to like be behind Ellis and his journey, but sometimes he's just like a little bratty kid, and who punches people without without. I mean, not saying it without provocation, but he just kind of runs up and clocks people, and it's not a good way to live, I don't think. Um, but yeah, I mean, as far as movies go, is this a waste of your time? I don't think so. It's definitely weird. I think if you watch it because of this podcast, you should drop your comments on the Facebook page, because I think this is one of those movies where everyone probably has a different opinion about it, and people can talk about it. And if you like to see Matthew McConaughey be kind of like a weird character who's, kind of rugged looking and covered in mud the whole time, even though his name is Mud, then this is right up your alley. So, yeah, I mean, it's just got a weird story, and there's a lot to dig into, I think. Like, I think even though it's a simple movie, it's very complex, which is weird to say because they cancel each other out. But I think it's billed as a simple movie, but the more you look into it, I think there's just a lot of things going on here that you could talk a lot about. So I'm going to stick with, I semi-liked it. I think you should watch it if you have access to it. Why not? It was worthwhile at 100, I don't think it was 100. I think it was an hour and 45 minutes roughly. So, yeah.
I think it was 201.
Oh my gosh, much longer than I thought. All right, if you
Well,
got
that's
an
all the
extra
credit.
if you got an extra 201, then it's right up your alley. So, yeah, that's where I'm gonna land, because I could talk a ton more about this movie because there's a lot in it, but you kind of have to really go into some spoilers and plot and stuff like that. But I'm gonna just this is a fine movie to watch for right now. Matt,
Yeah, so um, I agree with you about that sort of dichotomy between simple and complexity. And I think the simplicity is really in the characters. A lot of the characters are uh, pretty flat as
yeah,
far as their depth goes. Like, there's not a lot of depth to any of the characters. They're sort of like um, uh, tropes almost. Like, this is the old guy who has a past
right,
history in the military. That guy, and here's another guy who's like the the kid who hasn't had any love experience and sort of comes of age
yeah.
maybe a little bit,
Here's the
that
dad
type
who's
of
stuck
stuff.
in his old
But I think the
ways, who
complexity,
can't change and stuff like that. Here's the mom who wants more out of life, and those kind of things.
right, right, yeah, and so I think the complexity becomes, how do all these characters sort of fit together? And I also like what you said about sort of love being a theme of this and figuring out love, and not only between uh, like romantic love between a man and a woman, or even two teenagers, but also like love between like like parental figures, even if they're
Sure.
not your parents,
Yeah.
and children. There's a lot of that sort of sprinkled through here, which I think is the most interesting part, and probably what the director would say that was the theme we were going for, is this idea of love and how people figure out about love, and yeah, the journey that Ellis takes from not really understanding love, and most of the movie just wants to believe in love, and wants to easily fall into love with
Yes.
girls and stuff like that. Um, and his belief that love is really standing up for your girl or a girl or woman, um, when they're being treated badly, and that's where the
Yes.
punching comes in for him.
He is
Um,
so punch
so
happy as a person. I mean, I'm not saying
he
some of the punches weren't
he
warranted, but he is like several parts of the movie involve him just clocking people from nowhere.
Yes, absolutely. So so how did I feel about the movie? I thought it was an okay movie. There were times where I was like, I'm not as invested in the characters as
Sure.
probably they want me to be. Um, but there was enough quirky stuff that kind of, like you mentioned, the Mud character stories and like some weird. There's just some weird stuff. There's the
Yes.
Elbones,
No.
not
Neckbone.
Elbone,
Yeah.
Neckbone, Neckbone. Sorry, Elbone is from a kids' TV show that has been going on at my house recently. Um, Neckbone's uncle, who he lives with, part of the plot is he's like a diver in the river, and he has like this ancient diving helmet thing that he puts on. It's like made of metal. It looks like an iron lung or something, and then halfway through the movie, he's added lights to it so that he can go diving at night. And they show that, but there's no real point to it. It's like a weird thing that
Yeah.
happens. So anyway, those little weird quirks sort of kept me involved, even if the character development wasn't really all that great, and the story was complicated, but not
Yeah.
that compelling.
Mm.
I think is where I say. So okay, movie, worth a watch for your if you've got Netflix, give it a watch.
Sure.
If you haven't seen it.
It's very. It's weird because two movies like this came out around the same time. There's Mud, which is with Matthew McConaughey, and then there's Joe, which is with Nicolas Cage, and it is such a. I mean, and they both have Tye Sheridan as the main. Sheridan, I think his name is, as the main guy, and they play. It's like the exact same character. It's just his interactions with a guy named Mud, and then his interactions with a guy named Joe, and it's just like it could be a sequel to this movie. It's just so weird. But that's neither here nor there. That's just a little fun fact for everyone.
Little
So,
tidbit.
I feel like the easiest thing to go with would be how many shirtless McConaughey's would you give this movie? But I don't think that's where I'm going to settle. I'm going to settle on how many cottonmouth snakes would you give this movie? And that's a theme that comes into the movie at some point.
Yeah, no, that's true. There are quite a few, both cottonmouth snakes in the movie and discussions
Yes.
about cotton. So, um, so I would say on a scale of 0 to 5 cottonmouth snakes, 5 being the best, I would give this like a 2.3. So just below average. Um, worth worth a watch maybe if you're got nothing better going on and you're just looking for a movie to pick out. You can
Sure.
pick this one. There's other ones you can pick too, but I would go with this. This is kind of slightly below average for me,
Sure.
pretty middle of the road. So,
I think
how
I'm going
about
to
you?
land on a little bit higher than you, a 2.8. And I think it's cheating a little bit. Not really cheating, but I have already seen this movie. I saw it not too long after it came out because I think it went to Netflix real fast. So I must have saw it in like 2012, 2013. And I think as a second viewing, I liked it better than the first viewing. And being able to see the complexities, like simple characters, but a complex story and all that kind of stuff. So I'm also appreciative that this movie got Matthew McConaughey kind of on a direction that was no longer like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and Fool's Gold and all those stupid movies with Kate Hudson. So I'm going to give it a little credit for that. So, but yeah, I think 2.8 is where I'm at.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Those have been our thoughts on the movie Mud, which you can find on Netflix. And we gave it an average of 2.55 cottonmouth snakes out of 5. So, that's sort of slightly above average. So
Yeah.
check it out
And
if
if
you
you
want
feel
to.
if you feel differently,
And
let us know your opinion either in a comment wherever you download this or in our Facebook page.
that's right. So that'll wrap up this episode of Matt and Todd Go to the Movies. Thank you for listening. We like
Da da
listeners.
da da. da da
Da
da.
da 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 da.